Hey, there we go. Welcome, everybody. May 17th, 2021. Tom's live stream coming on right now, right here. Glad to see all of you coming in again today. What a great weekend. I don't know what you guys did for yours, but in Florida on the West Coast right now, we are having, I think it's unseasonably dry. I mean, the humidity was down in the 30s. I ended up at the beach this weekend. One of my buddies was having a 60th. And so we ended up, his family rented a condo out near Anna Marie Island. And we enjoyed the sunset, had a great time. But here I am back in the studio again. I've been at it for several hours today. So I want to say good afternoon and good day to all of you here. Thompson, good to see you in the house, buddy. We're going to talk about a lot of things. I mean, the big news that you see on the screen as I am just getting started, and those of you are just coming on board. You know, I mean, Elon Musk, again, has added to really the confusion of what's going on out there and what to think about the big cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. You know, first it was that Tesla and company were buying a huge amount of Bitcoin, and the market had rallied quite a bit. Then he moved into Dogecoin. He's been talking about Dogecoin or Dogecoin for some time now, and most recently, as recent as coming into the weekend, he started chatting about the fact that they were going to consider pulling out of Bitcoin because of the carbon effect it has, the amount of energy that's consumed to mine it. And so that's concerns as well. You know, we're also going to talk about, we're not going to talk about this, but this is the big thing we're seeing right now is home building stocks and building supplies are both moving higher. One of these have to give, because if you're a home builder like a Lowe's or a Home Depot, you can't just continue to do well as the number one items that you sell that go out the door. For instance, lumber, for instance. So lumber, I remember this from working at Home Depot my days ago. It was more than half my life ago. Lumber accounted for about 10% of the sales in the entire store. And when 10% of your revenue just tripled in cost, doubled and tripled cost. Yes, you can raise it too, but you still got to be the lowest price guy out there. So your margins are going to be affected. So one way or another, either commodities have to come down or some of these home building stocks are going to get hit. So those are some interesting points to take too. And of course, the big news really comes off of the top tiered thing we're talking about. So, you know, if you look up, let me put a point. If you look up here, Elon Musk, and then you look down here and you see where I'm talking about Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin has been dropping quite a bit. And, you know, the world, again, is running low on everything. So all of these seem to be tied together a good bit. So again, I want to welcome all of you in here. Ernie, glad to see you. Alicia, thank you so much. I appreciate that comment. Carlton, always good to see you. I see you on every single video that we do. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much. Don and Ellen, thank you very much. Checking in from Texas. Michael, hey, you're close. You're close. I get up to St. Pete every once in a while. Very seldom do I get into Tampa unless I'm heading out of town and I got to go through TPA, but good to see you as well. Kathy, always a pleasure. AMB, thank you. You know, just a lot of love out there, guys. I appreciate it. We have tons and tons to cover with you here today. And before I get into things too seriously, just real quick, I want to mention two quick things about this disclaimer, and we'll get started. Number one, stock options, crypto, they all have large potential rewards, as we know, but they also have large potential risks. And number two, I am not an investment advisor. I'm not a stockbroker. I don't give personalized investment advice. And so that being said, again, for those of you just joining us, you know, top news stories really all seem to be revolving around Elon Musk. And what I want to get into today is I have an agenda that we're going to talk about these three things. We're going to go over the overall markets. We're going to go over cryptocurrencies. I want to talk about your favorite stocks. So hold on to those for a moment. When I ask for your favorite stocks, put them out there for me and I'll analyze those for you as well. All right. So we want to do that too. Also, I've got, cryptocurrencies. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and then, we'll see where we go from there. But the big thing I want to do is I want to definitely talk about something new that I'm going to bring to the live stream, which is what I call the scan of the week. And the scan of the week will do two things. That means everybody in here is going to get something out of the scan of the week. All right. So everybody's going to get something out of what it is we're scanning on because we're going to do it live. But number two, if you happen to be part of Tom's Option Tools, I'm going to show you where I got that scan so you can replicate it day after day. All right. Guys, you can chat with me live. I do have super chats up and running. If you do a super chat donation, I appreciate that. All the proceeds from our channel, not just this live stream, but the videos we do here every week, the podcast we do here every week, they all go to charity. And so I'm actually looking at the charity I'm looking at donating to this month is LBX Sports, which is up in New York. And you might wonder what they are. They're a company that helps underprivileged kids, gets them into sports. And, I know for me, sports played a very big role, I think, in shaping me as to who I am today. And so I think that's one of several charities that we give to here at Tom's Trading Room. So by you donating to our channel, you're really donating, and we're taking that and passing that on. And so I wanted to mention that as well. Guys, thank you for being part of the program. Like, share, subscribe. I appreciate that. And so that being said, let's go ahead and let's get big here on the screen. And let's talk about these markets. Let's talk about FANG. Let's talk about what's going on with cryptocurrencies. And of course, let's talk about my scan of the week. Because I definitely want to get into that with you guys too. So again, thanks for all of you coming on board. And you know what, Don? I will take a look at Ripple. All right, so I will add that as the extra coin we're going to look at. We'll get into that here really soon, guys. So let's first. I'm going to turn my neck sideways, and I want to go in, and we are going to look at my charts right on tomsoptiontools.com. And so a lot of this stuff, you can get a lot of the stuff that I have right off of like candlesticks, for instance. You can get that off of any broker's website, any charting website. Channels you might be able to do, I don't know. I have a particular proprietary channel stack that I do on here. If you want to try our tools out, and you've never tried them out before, we have a 2-week free trial. All you got to do is just go to the bottom of the screen down there, and you'll see the link to that trial in our description. All right, so starting off with the S&P. Still, the S&P just continues to buck the trend of inflation. It continues to really kind of buck the trend of that sell in May and go away. And, we were down a lot more this morning than we are right now, but we're doing one of these things called an inside bar. So if you go back, and if I were to just kind of lean into just the last couple of days of the chart, you can see here, and we'll look at prices, but we're sitting around 415 right now. But as you can see here, we dropped down to around the 407 area. Again, this was the middle of last week. Thursday, we had a rally in the afternoon. Friday, we had a bump up and run. And today we're sitting inside, which basically means when you look at it, when you hear the words inside bar, for those of you that are hearing that term for the first time, that just means the high is below the high of the previous day and the low is above the low of the previous day. So inside, the actual high and low is inside the high and low of the previous day. So it's a very quiet day. We're going to start hearing news really at the end of the day, what I like to call important news. And important news is earnings. And we'll have some earnings that come out, but not much because, earnings are now well in the rear view mirror for us. We'll get a couple of things that pop out. But for the most part, the earnings season is now pretty much behind us. So now we're going to go into a pattern of no news. And where does no news lead the market? And right now, if you were to look at these channels, I've got a long-term channel up. I've also got a shorter-term channel, right? And this short and intermediate is on the last 29 days. So call it a 30-day chart. And so we have a 100-day chart, 30-day chart. And you can see here inside the 30-day chart, we're starting to hit a lot of resistance in this area here. So this is going to be a very interesting inflection point for the S&P 500. What I mean by that is that it's going to have to take something really, I think, extraordinary to continue to push this market forward. Because as you can see, the short-term chart is not leaning into the long-term trend. It's like a car that's running on fumes right now. So looking forward into the fumes, let's take a look at what bonds are revealing, what the cash market's revealing, and what the commodity markets are revealing as we move forward. All right, so from here, I want to look at TLT. TLT is the bond market. Now, when I'm looking at TLT, and someone had asked me to look at TLT, and I want to think it was Lisa who was asking last week if we could take a look at TLT and get an idea what's going on. So Lisa, this one's for you. And if you take a look at TLT, you can see that what I'm looking at again is about a 100-day chart, downtrend. And downtrend because of two reasons. Because bond traders are getting out of fixed instruments and have been getting into risky instruments like stocks, number one. So when you put pressure selling something, when a lot of money managers are selling, that forces a product down or an asset class down. And so the asset class of bonds has been going down. The asset class of stocks has been going up. But there's been more recent pressure on the bond market to stay down because of inflation fears. And that's what we see kind of happening right now. So if you see here, I've got three different charts on the screen. I've got a long-term trend down. I've got an intermediate term trend and a short-term trend that are moving slightly higher. Now, again, in this area, we're kind of in no man's land. And the reason I say that is because if you take a look at the top, and I'm gonna scream into this chart right now because we got a lot of support at 135. We're trading at 136.90 right now. But if you get in here, this area right around 138 to 139 is going to be a very interesting resistance area. If we fail to go through this and the bond market comes down and we get below these lows here, this could have a negative effect on the stock market because this is no longer traders that are getting out of bonds to get into stocks. These are traders that believe that interest rates are going to rise. So TLT has an inverse relationship to interest rates, right? If we see it rise quickly, that's not good for stocks either because that means there's panic buying coming into bonds and people are selling out of stocks. So the best thing that could happen with TLT is if it were just to move sideways. This is the Goldilocks of asset classes right here. The calmer it is, the better it is for stocks. All right. Now, next, I want to take a look at UUP. UUP is our cash instrument. It is not an instrument I particularly trade. I find very little to trade with on UUP. But I look at UUP, and I say this every single week, as a barometer of what I need to be trading. And so when I look at UUP, I see UUP, we've got long and intermediate and short-term trends. Long-term trend is really, it's barely up. Intermediate term trend sideways, short-term trend down. So all three trends are conflicting with each other. So the only thing I have to look at to help me determine what's going on with the US dollar is the support points around 24.20 and 24.10. And we're trading at 24.28, so we're really close to support points. So trend channels don't tell me much here. But what is causing the US dollar to drop? Right? Continued printing from the Fed. And this right here, if the US dollar continues to drop down, as long as it doesn't drop down like crazy, I think that's a plus for the stock market, right? Oil, USO, has been a fan favorite of ours for several months now. And in fact, if you go back into February, you can see that the February, we had a nice area right around 40 that we jumped above, but we also jumped into a seasonal bullish pattern with oil. As you can see, USO just continues to defy gravity, continues to try to trend higher. I really like USO in the upper 40s by the time we get into July 4th. Once we get past July 4th, I think that's when oil starts to run into a climber's fatigue, if you will. All right. If you've ever, my younger brother, he's a climber. He's a rock climber, not professional. All right. He's an amateur rock climber. He climbs ice. He climbs rocks. This guy's always climbing something. And he says, when you climb, he says, I always got to dig in and chalk up. I always wondered why you want to use chalk, because I thought chalk would be slippery to a climber. But interestingly enough, chalk actually keeps your hands dry and keeps them from getting hurt on rough rocks. So he'll climb up, he'll climb up, but there's a point in which chalk and legs and everything, you got to rest. And he says he gets what's called climber's fatigue if he overdoes it. And I think that may be the case as we head into July. Where are we right now? We're in the middle of May. We still got a good 6 weeks where I don't think we're going to suffer from climber's fatigue in products like USO. Now, I'm going to take this one a step further for all of you out there. All right. Because I like to talk about, my 3-step process, which is spot opportunity, create a low risk trade, and then plan, execute, and manage. All right. So I'm going to show you how, we can take USO and take it a step further. I'm going to come in and log into my site, tomsoptiontools.com. Again, free 2-week trial to those of you that are brand new, and that'll get you into everything we have. When it comes to these 3 areas here, take your pick: option trader, contrarian trader, complete trader. The difference is contrarian trader, we actually look at things like darknet channels, which is our contrarian trading system. And then complete trader gives you our money patterns as well, which are very interesting as well. All right. So just want to point those out to everybody. Let's go ahead and what I want to do is I want to go into option trader, and I'm actually going to go bypass it and just go to option chains. And I want to look at option chains on USO. So USO, as you can see here, we've got, I've got all kinds of different options expiration months to go forward. If I am looking at a pattern, and right now we're halfway through the pattern and the market's on the move, but if I want to catch that last 6 weeks or last 2 months of that pattern, and that pattern ends in July, then I'm going to be looking for options that expire in mid-July. There's the July 16th. That's the 3rd Friday options. So this is how I take something like a pattern that I recognize, and this is the oil pattern. It happens every mid-February to mid-July every single year, and it doesn't work every single year. But right now, if you go back 20 years, you'll find 75% of those 20 years, 15 of the 20 years, oil has been higher in mid-July than it was in February. And it's all about now creating that acceptable risk trade. So for me, I'm going to look at just mid-July, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to see right now, what are the options trading for? Now take a look. Now we're talking about something that's at $45.16. So if you look at 45.16 and you see that the July 46 calls are trading for right down the middle, about $2. So 85 cents of that $2 is going to be real value, right? We see that as real value because, again, if the stock's at 45 and I'm looking at buying, I'm sorry, take that back. It's a Monday. I apologize. If you take a look here, you'll see that all of this is time value. 46 call is out of the money. But if I look at the 45 call is trading for $2.46. And again, what I'm looking at here is if I see that that this trade is 246, again, $2.30, this second column here is what we call our time value. So $2.30 of this is time, and the rest of this is real. So if I want to get an option that has as little time value as possible, I got to come down a good bit. Now take a look at the 41 call for a moment. The 41 call is trading for $5.10, $5 by 5.20, but yet only 94 cents of that is time value. The rest of it's real. So we're talking about an option that 77% of the option is real. It's trading like the stock, where in this case, in going backwards, you look at those 45 calls, only about, this stock's trading where very, very little of it is going to be stock value. All right. Very, very little of it. Most of it's time value. But when I look at this, I look at target prices. That's the first thing I go to. And if my target price is, where is it likely going to be come mid-July? And if we go back and look at that channel for a moment, let's go look at the stock channel. You can see the stock channel kind of trending up. And if you see this, let's take the conservative line. You take this conservative line, and this is mid-April, and we're in mid-May. So, you're really kind of seeing mid-June, mid-July, we're going to be out around that 48 area. So I take 48 as a potential channel target. From that area, let's go see what the 48 calls are trading at. Well, they're trading for $1.22. So what if I sold the 48 calls? And what if I came down and I bought the 46 call? What I'm trying to do is I'm buying the lower, selling the higher, allows me to do this at a very, very low price. So right here, all right? And you can see in this case, I have a trade that could be put, mid-quote price is $77. So instead of paying over $200 to buy the 46 call, by merging these two together, buying the 46 and selling the 48 for July, I'm able to do that for a combined cost. Mid price is 77. I can probably get that off for about 80 bucks. And what do I stand to make? $80 could become 120. The 77 could be 123. But if I pay 80 for it, then I'm looking at about 120 maximum profit. That's 150% reward to risk ratio. Now, in order to get 150% out of the 46 call, if I were just to buy the 46 call, I would need the underlying asset to go to 49. All right. 48 to 49, you might say, that's not a lot, Tom, but it is in percentages when you take a look at percentages. So that's just, again, how I take something from a reward to risk ratio, looking at probability, looking at the cost, looking at how little it takes. Now, that takes a different level of option trader. If you're an option trader and you're on level 1, you're buying calls, buying puts. You're going to need to get to level 2 to do spreads, to do debit spreads like this. All right, so just keep that in mind. What's your level? All right, so that is moving forward from stocks, bonds, currencies, and commodities. I want to share one more with you. We'll go into FANG, and then we're going to take a look at what you guys want to be interested in looking at here. Take a look at gold. All right. Don't say I didn't tell you about this one. I've been talking about this for weeks. I said I love gold. I love gold as an investor. I don't like gold as a trader. But lately, I have been liking gold as a trader. But we're running into an area of resistance here. All right. How many of you see it on GLD? If you take a look at GLD, what you're going to find is GLD is just, it's come up off that double bottom that occurred back in March. We're coming into an area where we're seeing the long-term channel coming down, the intermediate-term channel coming across. And they're both at an inflection point between 175 and 176. 175, 176. So these are all, again, very important points. Amy, I'm with you. Go gold. Go GLD. Old school asset. And this is a great hedge. And I talked about this last week, that if you think cryptocurrencies, you need a hedge against crypto. This was last week I talked about this. I said GLD, I think, is a great hedge against crypto. And so I'm going to get into crypto today too, guys. So just kind of hang with me here. We'll talk about crypto, what my buy points are on I've got some updated points on Bitcoin. I've got a buy point on Ethereum. We'll look at Doge. I want to look at Ripple too as well. So those are the 4 coins I'm going to be focusing on today. And so just hang out with me there. All right. I saw Jonas says RIP, Dogecoin, RIP, ETFH. I wouldn't say RIP yet. I wouldn't start digging a hole for these guys yet, or at least the big ones. I'll show you where my buy points are on those. All right. So as you take a look at this here, we're running into resistance on GLD again. Long term, I love it. Short term, we might be running into a little bit of resistance here. We shall see. All right. Moving into FANG stocks, and get ready, because after I do FANG, I want to see what are your favorite stocks you want to look at. Amy, I'm starting with you because I saw you asking about MRO. So hang tight. We'll be looking at MRO shortly. Facebook, and you know what, guys? I want to look at the stocks, looking at the channels that we're looking at here, because these are, again, channels that we look at that are proprietary. All right. We have these channels that are part of our darknet strategy. It's part of our contrarian trading strategy. So again, for those of you that are new, you're looking at these channels. These are channels that are auto replicated right on our charts. And so once I change the chart, the channels long, short, intermediate will change along with me, and they will sync up to the actual chart themselves. All right. And again, guys, if I've said it before, I'll say it again for you. For those of you that are brand new, again, welcome. If you take a look at the bottom of the screen there, you can see what it is we're going to be going into. I'm just getting started here. All right. Chat with me live. All right, guys, we have Super Chat loaded up. So if you want to Super Chat and donate to the channel, those proceeds all go to charity. All right, something we did. We really started this YouTube program about a year ago. I mean, I've had YouTube for years, and we only used it as a feeder to our option tools, really to show people how-tos, 5-minute videos on how to do this, how to do that. Last year, when the pandemic hit, I had a little extra time in my hands, so we actually started doing videos and put them out there to the public to teach them how it is we spot opportunities, create alternative risk trades, and plan, execute, manage. And so since then, our YouTube viewership has been growing. And so thank you to all of you who like this program. Please do. It helps support the channel. Also, too, if you subscribe to our program, you're going to get, we do about 3 videos a week. All right. I'm not out there. I'm not doing these things every day, day in and day out. I just think it's just too much. Too much for me. It's too much for you. I think that, that 3 areas, 2 videos, 1 podcast seem to be just about right. Anything more is like going down the Florida Turnpike. You start seeing all those billboards go by, and they all get blurry. All right. For those of you that are new with us, thanks for joining us. We do things a little different than most of the folks that are out here live streaming. I only live stream once a week. All right. I might do something special. We're probably gonna hit 20,000 subscribers here in I would say probably about another month to 2 months tops. When we do that, I might do a 1 week of nothing but live streams. That's what I'm kind of thinking about. So I might do that as a thank you to all of you that are out there. So when that subscription rate hits 20K, we'll be doing something special for all the group out here. But if you're brand new and you find this corner of the world interesting, please do us a favor, like and share our videos. And thank you to those of you that do. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on. Facebook, moving up, channels higher, inside day on Facebook. Not really much has changed. I mean, we dropped down last week. We recovered. I'm looking for things to give me trading opportunities. In Facebook, the trend is still up. In Apple, we really did. If you take a look, you've got a tale of 3 channels here. You've got a long-term channel that's been sideways, intermediate that's up, short-term is down. We are running into an area where we bounced last week, but we hit the medium-term middle part of the channel, and we hit the medium-term, short-term channel resistance. We're going to get clogged up in here with Apple, and it's coming into a wedge. It's going to need to break one way or another. Fundamentally, I think it's strong. Technically, I think it's weak. So it's a pass for me, right? I like to say that, I'm not a quarterback. I don't like passing on things because that's not how I make money. But I avoid a lot of problems by passing on things that don't just scream buy or sell. And that is charts, and that is rules-based opportunities. Amazon, one such thing where we had a channel buy that happened last week. I may have shared this with the room. I sold puts on Amazon last week, and that was in the middle of the week. Great move, expired worthless, collected that premium, helped pay for my Coinbase mess. I'm not perfect, and I don't claim to be. All right, Coinbase, I went ahead and had, I rolled into Coinbase, sold some 250 puts, saw that as an area of support. Well, we blew through that today. And so we'll take a look at Coinbase here in a moment. But Amazon, I don't see any real opportunities here for Amazon. Netflix looks like a short to me. We have broken down through the support at 490, which was once, twice, and last week we broke through it. And it looks like here, it just reeks of lower prices. Take a look at Google, and you can see Google seems to be emitting the same smell that USO has, where it's had a nice run up, but then lately it's just been kind of fuming out right now. So, so Google, again, I don't see it as a potential sell, but I don't see it as a potential buy either. All right, let's end. And then I'm going to take a look at your favorite stocks, but let's take a look at Tesla here for a moment, because here's another one. I think this one is a classic sell. And the reason I believe that is if you take a look at the technicals right now, take a look at the technicals, you got a long-term trend down, all right, long-term going out 90 days, all right. The last quarter, we've been moving lower highs, lower lows. We tried to bounce higher, and this bounce really ended after earnings, when it was found out very quickly after earnings that the majority of earnings, if not all of the earnings, came from Tesla's purchase in Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin's going to move lower. And if Elon Musk says that Tesla has not sold their Bitcoin stock, then Tesla has to go lower. I mean, it looks like it does. So that's the fundamentals. So you mix technicals, fundamentals, and then you take a look at clean energy. Clean energy tends to go opposite of dirty energy being oil. If oil is in an uptrend, clean energy should be cooling off. So where does Tesla go? Whew, that's a good point. If I had to bring this back a little farther, let's take a look at a 200-day chart on Tesla, and then I'm going to look at Coinbase and MRO. Take a look at the 200-day chart on Tesla. I have to say that 400 looks like the area that's not a big move down, but I'm taking a look at a 200-day chart. If I go to a 150-day chart, I'm trying to bring this out a little bit more so we can look at where the support levels are. The support level looks like 385. So if you take a look at what's happened with Tesla, this isn't Tesla. This is why this is looking so interesting. Thank you all for letting me know that my chart jumped to SPY. That's what I'm looking for. You got 3 different downtrend channels that are happening. And then down here, you got 400. And 400 looks like the support point. And we're talking about a $575 stock. You might say, this is not going back to 400, Tom. All right, so that might be true, but pick your spots. I mean, 500 is a round number support. 550 was the last area of support that we've seen. So could we drop down to 500? Yes. Could we utilize the same type of trade that we had in USO going up with Tesla going down? It's very possible that we can, right? So we can utilize a put debit spread, buying a higher strike put, selling a lower strike put, and really trying to contain the price of that Tesla is trading at. Those option prices are going to be huge. It isn't going to be USO prices. These are going to be big prices. So that's something I'm interested in looking at as well. So my mind is on Tesla. And again, I could go to an option graph and I'll show you real quick what's going on with Tesla. So if you take a look at options, and we'll go back, let's get to the option tables. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to change my price to, or my asset from TSLA, or from USO to TSLA. Let's go ahead and update the stock. Now this will all come back into a window. Again, June 25th. That's only June 18th. That's the third Friday, 32 days away. Let's see what Tesla has to offer with 32-day puts. Okay, if we bought the 580 puts, it's going to cost us $44, roughly 43. 43.63 is what the mid price is. However, what if look at the 575s. They're 41, but you still need the stock to move $41 lower. And, if we go to 500, that $41 eats up a lot of that price. What if we bought the 575s? We came all the way down, and let's say we sold the 525s. That's a 50-point spread. Buying the 575 puts, selling the 525 puts. This is a put spread against Tesla. Not going to cost us $4,300, but less than $2,000. Looks like about $1,900. If that's too expensive for you, let me give you another idea. What if we were to go in, instead of buying the 575s, what if we bought the 550s? All right, let's cut that price in half again. Oh, $829. All right, what are we doing? That perked up a few people. This is an example, by the way. Not a recommendation, but if I were looking at a way of getting short Tesla without shorting the stock or buying the expensive puts, if I bought the 550 puts and paid a little more than $30 and I sold the 525 puts and I was able to get 22, we're talking about something that's around the $8.50 area. On a contract spread, you're talking about $800 to $850. So a lot less there than what we see. All right. Let's do this. Let's jump back over to my trend charts. I'm going to bring up Coinbase. And I want to bring it up because I don't want to forget about it. And as you can see here, Coinbase has indeed jumped down to new lows, but we came down as low as 240. The high today was 250. We're trading right around the 245 area. So I don't have enough room to go in here and really look at channels. If I did a channel test on Coin, it's not going to give me anything because Coinbase has not been a publicly traded stock. I need at least 100 days worth of data to be able to get a really good read on what we call channel collisions. But Amy was the first one to clue in and give me a stock, which was MRO. That was Marathon Oil. And if I go into Marathon Oil and I want to run the channel test on Marathon Oil, you can see here, Marathon has a cone. It has the cone happening, and it's got an area where it could break above. And if we get above the area of about $12.50 on Marathon Oil, this could be a runner. And, I don't see it going all the way out here to 16.5. That cone's pretty wide. But could we get up here to around the $14 level? It's very possible that we could. All right. So, that being said, guys, if you have a stock that you want to look at right now, what is your favorite stock? And I'm talking stocks right now, not crypto. I see eBay on there, so I'm going to go with Kevin. Kevin, you want to talk about eBay? Let's go ahead and let's mention eBay. Kevin's on the screen right now. Your thoughts on eBay? Let's go ahead and look at eBay. So EBAY is our symbol, and what I'm doing again, I'm jumping in here and I'm doing some stuff with our tools, tomsoptiontools.com. You want a free 2-week trial, look at the description below. eBay looks like this. Well, now, first of all, I look at two sets of different channels, Kevin. And so as you can see here, first, I've got the short-term downtrend. I've got that reverse, that red channel that kind of reverses up, and I've got the extension happening. But what I want to do is I want to look at all three combined. So what I do is I come down here to an area called channel test. I click on channel test and it merges all that data together. And it tells me that with eBay, we have a tale of three channels. We've got uptrend happening, we've got intermediate term sideways, and we got a short-term pullback. Now, what's been going on is eBay's moving now up towards the area of the pullback, and we're going to run into some resistance I mean, stock's at 61.20 right now, so about a point higher, and we're going to start to see some technical resistance in the area of around 62.5. So again, Kevin, thank you very much with your comment. I appreciate that. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see. Greg, they're all popping in now. Greg's asking about AT&T. Spiked up today. What's up? All right, let's take a look and see what's up with T. So let's do a T, and I'm going to go down, and I'm going to pop the channel again with AT&T. And you know, I saw some news that came across the screen that had to do with the communications sector. Was it Verizon? Was it Sprint? Was it Discuss? It wasn't Dish Network. They've already been taken. But there was some info that came out on the telecommunications market, and it did pop AT&T. And AT&T had one of those pop and drop moments where we did pop up and had a high at 33.5. We pulled back in. But interestingly enough, you can see what happened with the trends. Both the long and short-term trends really kind of pegged the open, not the high. It missed that part of the high, but the open was the upper end of that channel, and now we've kind of come right back in. So long-term, intermediate term, still trending up, but you know, we could expect to see a pullback that would bring us back down to around about another 50 cents lower, about 32.44. My family and I happen to love AT&T as a long-term stock. Pays a great dividend. You know, I don't really talk about long-term investments here on the channel, but I thought I would throw that one out there too, just to let you guys know what my thoughts are. You know, not on just on things like trades, but investments as well. Brendan, good to see you, Brendan. Always love seeing you in your comments. I appreciate your comments both here in the YouTube video as well as the programs that we offer at Tom's Trading Room. I appreciate it, buddy. Square, SQ. Let's take a look at SQ. SQ seems to be a fan favorite among the day traders. A lot of patterns that happen on Square with day trading. But, boy, you know, when I first take a look at this chart, I see 1, 2, 3, 4. We're kind of coming around the support level, round number support around 200. But let's see where all of these channels point to when you take a look at, when you consolidate them all, and they both say the same thing, Brendan, and that is that we see long-term and intermediate-term support right around the area that we're at. Let's call it 195, because that's where the channel is. When you take a look at where my red arrow is on the screen, 195 seems to be the spot that we're cluing in on. Thank you very much. Let's see, Nepper. Want to look at BA? Let's go ahead and take a look at Boeing, BA. Boy, I absolutely loved this stock last year when it dropped down below 100, but those days are long gone. So let's take a look and see what's been going on with this one since the high we saw. And again, this is another one that's a tale of three channels where we have the long-term up, intermediate-term sideways, short-term down. The area of support really looks good down here around $210, because where my red line is on here, you've got that short-term support, you've got the intermediate term support, and you've got the long-term support lines all coming together around that same price point. I would not be surprised if we get a dark net buy signal right in that area. All right, let's take a look and see. I've got a couple. I'm going to end this session here real quick. Let's pop in with the last one. I'm actually going all the way to the bottom, and I'm working my way up. And let's see. Hello, Kennedy. James, you know what? I'll take a look here. CPRX. All right, say, how about CPRX? So let's take a look at CPRX, and we'll finish up with that one. Never looked at CPRX. If it is an optionable, it will come up. If it's not optionable, and it is, I was going to say, if it's not optionable, I'm not going to be able to do anything with it. But first time I'm looking at Catalyst Pharmaceuticals, and as you can see, again, pull down, rise back up in continuation. When we add all that together on the channel test, again, channel test only available here on Tom's Option Tools. This is a $5 stock. This is why I haven't seen this one before, But James, as you can see, we're at the top of the channel. We've got a longer term channel that says, possibly kind of coming up to around the $5.80 level. I like the fact that on Friday, this had a big move up, and today it hasn't had a big pullback. That's still got a little bit of strength left in it. So there you go, guys. And so, again, thank you very much. We're going to do this every week on our live stream where we go through and we talk about, we talk about stocks, bonds, currencies, commodities. I still got crypto I got to do. So we'll get into cryptocurrency. But I also want to take a little bit of time out, and I want to talk about what you see as your favorite stocks. All right. And again, happy to chat with you guys. I apologize right off the bat if I don't get to all of you. But we do have Super Chat on. So if you want to make a donation to the channel, thank you very much. And the charities that we support, because 100% of our proceeds go to various charities. If you want to know what those charities are, TomGentile.com. Go to a section in there called Giving, where we do a thing called Giving Back. And you'll see the charities that we give to. And we just continue to add to that list as we give to those charities. So let's move on and let's talk about cryptocurrency. That's what a lot of you are in here wanting to discuss anyway. You want to talk about crypto? Let's get into crypto right now. So I'm going to talk about I want to call them the big three. And then I'm going to pop into one particular area of cryptocurrency, and we'll discuss that as well. Kathy, thank you very much for your donation. I appreciate that. I got to kick the bell here. It's closing time. No, I'm just kidding. That's my stock market bell that we were able to grab. It's an old Boston bell that came out of a firehouse that I found at an antique store. And I said, man, I got to take this and turn this into my own stock market piece. So, Jay, thank you very much. If you want to donate, the icon at the bottom of the chat window is the area called Super Chat. A lot of you don't know where it is. Honestly, I didn't know where it was until just recently. I didn't even know how to add it onto the channel until recently, until somebody in this program said, hey, why don't you have a super chat? And so that's why we put it up there for you. Let's move on to cryptocurrency. So here's my crypto charts right now. Biggest thing that's got to be on everybody's mind. And I'm actually going to do a real short video on this later in the week, because this is an area that I really want to get into and clue in. If I could talk crypto for 5 or 10 minutes, I'm gonna actually make a short video on just cryptocurrency and where my buy points are. But you're with me now, so you're gonna get it early. So let's first talk about Bitcoin. All right, the foundational coin, numero uno, in terms of the first coin that's been out there, and of course, number one on the market cap. Take a look at Bitcoin. I went all the way back. I'm going to show you. I'm going to share with you two time frames on Bitcoin. The first one takes us all the way back to election day. And election day, you'll see, and I'm going to go zoom way in on this as much as I can here. On election day, or just after election day, we were hovering at or below the 20,000 point. Came down to around 16,000 and popped back up. We had a kind of a double bottom here. All right, and that low came in at 17,155, as you can see. Now, we scampered on up here. These dotted lines are something we call stock chart peaks. All right, this is something that we overlay now right on top of our crypto Fibonacci. Now, stock chart peaks, what we do with those is they take a look at very interesting support and resistance levels. What Fibonacci does is we take a low and a high and we snap resistance points based on percentages. 38% back, 50% back, 62% back. When we see a dotted line on top of a solid line, then we are seeing support points or resistance points coinciding with Fibonacci support or resistance points. And we find those to be very interesting areas. So where is my buying opportunity with Bitcoin? You take a look here on the chart, you'll see the low at 17. You'll see the high that we've been talking about for weeks now, 63,558. The Fibonacci 38% was at 45,832.36. We blew through that yesterday. Thank you, Mr. Musk. Because now you're backtracking saying, oh, no, Tesla hasn't sold his Bitcoin yet, and it's not helping matters. But where we see a very interesting area and where I'm going to line up my buying on Bitcoin, and I'm writing this number down, and I suggest you do the same. I'm going to put it up here. I'm letting you know my buy point ahead of time. All right. Now, if my wife had this conversation with me yesterday in the car on the way to the beach, she said, I have a buy point for Ethereum. And she had a buy point for Ethereum. And she said, why didn't it hit? She said, it traded down to that level, but I didn't get filled. And I explained to her, that was where a seller came in and sold, but you were not the buyer. Someone else scooped it up before you did. The market maker more than likely scooped that up. And so for that case, that's where we saw, again, the 40,000. In this case, if we hit 40,356 on Bitcoin, doesn't mean I'm going to be a buyer. It means that it traded at that price. It's going to have to go a little bit below that before I'm assured that I'm going to get a buying opportunity. But for me, BTC, and if I were to kind of write that down in big bold letters, and you don't have to actually get down to the actual pennies, but 40356, right? That's the 50% retracement off the lows since we exchanged one president for another. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum symbol is ETH. I've got to come down the screen a little bit to get to ETH. There it is. And take a look at ETH and going back again. This was a $500 instrument, 518.83 to be exact. Now, we wiggled our way all the way up to 4178.02. That was a week ago. A week ago, Ethereum was at all-time highs. A week ago, I said, if Ethereum were going to make a pullback, I really like it around the $3,000 level because it was so strong out of the gate. Now, my 50% retracement is 2346. I mean, it's kind of hard to fathom it going all the way down there. But as you can see, we're already hitting the 30-day moving average. We come off the 30-day moving average earlier today. But I want you to take a look at this. So I'm going to take the $175 or the 175-day chart. I'm going to make that a 100-day chart. And we're going to update Ethereum on the 100-day chart. Take a look at what happened today. Look in here. 3125.44. Boom. Booyah. All right. Yep, I took that from someone else. I apologize. 3125, and you can see that we hit the 38% retracement. I also like the $3,000 area because it's a round number. But 3125 is an excellent area that I think is an excellent buying opportunity. And ERC2, that is, or ETH2, whatever you want to call it. That's Ethereum version 2.0, which is more secure, faster. And so that's going to be coming on board here very, very soon, right? Oh, sorry, I didn't see it, but let me give the ding to Amy Ferguson. Thank you very much for your donation to Super Chat. We appreciate that, as well as the charities that we donate to. Take a look here at and again Ethereum. If I were, my next buy-in price on Ethereum, because I bought some Ethereum this weekend, looking at a shorter term chart. But my next buy-in price on Ethereum, if I haven't gotten it already, is 3125. All right. And finally, well, not finally, I want to look at XRP. I want to look at Ripple. And so XRP, that's one I don't trade. I'm going to look at it, but it's one I don't trade. Of the two I'm going to talk about that I don't trade. But XRP, the reason I don't trade it is it came off of Coinbase. And I'm not really a big fan of coins that are not Coinbase listed. Coinbase seems to vet these coins very, very well. Now, what I'm a little bit concerned about, and I'll bring this up right now, guys. I just think that again, if Coinbase is going to start adding coins as quickly as possible, if they do that, I mean, what's again, if they add as quickly as possible, what could possibly happen here? All right. What could happen is that maybe they're not going to vet enough. Maybe they're not going to vet these coins as fast as they should be. Is that a possibility? And all of a sudden, our coins that are going to be on Coinbase, something that I need to revet. I mean, we revet them. For those of you that follow me and look at our coin recommendations, we go through our own vetting process. We don't just buy them to buy them. And so XRP is not one of the ones on our buy list. But again, if you take a look at XRP, okay, we've bounced off a couple fib levels. Great. But you know what else is happening? This is hitting a triangle right now. So Ripple above 165. And technically, it looks like it's going to hit new highs. We get below that 38% retracement area. We close below last week's lows. Then we could be heading back down below $1. All right. So Ripple's been really kind of churning right here. It's going to get up and move one way or another. It's just a matter of where that volume comes in. And is it going to be buy volume or is it going to be sell volume? All right. Let me finish up looking at, and again, here's another one that I don't trade, but it's one that everybody's talking about. And there's family members of mine that own it. They keep asking me, what should I do with it? And I go, don't ask me. I don't own it. I didn't tell you to buy it. Why in the world would I tell you to sell it? I sound like Bud Fox when on Wall Street, the original Wall Street, when you look at that movie. But here's Dogecoin, 5 cents on the bottom. All right. A couple weeks ago, just prior to the highs that occurred right around the Saturday Night Live broadcast, and then we just started pulling in, right? So that's an area that's it's concerning. It's concerning, obviously. So take a look at most recently where it is. Is there a triangle formation? Not much of one, but it looks like there could be an upward some upward momentum. Again, I would look at this. If you're a really short-term trader on Doge, you got to be looking at the lows that happened yesterday and today. And those lows that happened yesterday or today, potentially we're looking at that 45 mark. That 45 mark and the 35 mark are very interesting numbers that I see on Dogecoin. I almost feel like Elon Musk has to continue talking about Dogecoin, because if he doesn't, to me, it's overvalued. It has nowhere to go but down, because you've got a flood of buyers in there right now. And unless this coin gets something else behind it, now there's potentially Coinbase might take it. If Coinbase takes it, then it moves to $1. Then I think you see this thing doubling. What coin on Coinbase hasn't been listed that day and gotten a 100% return? So if that's what you're looking for those of you out there are looking for Coinbase to bring Doge onto the Coinbase network, then I think you have a great short-term reward to risk ratio. What's the risk? If the rumors, or if Coinbase is looking to bring Doge on and decides, nope, we're not, and they make that statement, coin goes down, or not Coinbase, Doge goes down. If Coinbase does say, we are bringing Doge to the network, Doge goes up on day one. And you know what? Coinbase does too, the stock. Because again, so many retail traders getting in there and trading Coinbase or trading through Coinbase. And that's going to add a lot to what Coinbase makes on Doge and every other cryptocurrency. All right. So that's Doge. All right. Hey, guys, thank you very much for all the chatting. Keep it all coming in. And you know what? QMS. I'm going to end on cryptocurrency with you. All right. Because QMS is asking about Yearn Finance. That's one of my faves. All right. That's one that I'm going to tell you, I hold that one long. And let's take a look at Yearn. Yearn hit a $94,000 at one time. I'm just going to do a quick little update here. Let's pop on down to YFI. And as you can see, YFI is coming off. I mean, but look at where they were, even just 50 days ago, 35,000 on the low, the high. That pop took it up to near 95, but the closing high was 82,958. We just hit the 50% retracement on Yearn Finance yesterday and today. So as a long-term holder, I have to think to myself, this might be a great place. That 59,166 area looks like a really great place, as a long-term trader of Yearn to add to my position. All right. And it was a quick 50% in about 7 weeks, Adrian. You're right. I mean, that thing moved up fast. As a trader, we had that one. We took profits on the trade on a 50%. But again, this is a low. This is a long-term hold. So I look at it as a long-term hold because this one's a really quality pick here. And Jerome, you're welcome, buddy. I appreciate you stepping in there and throwing that one in. So guys, I'm going to finish up today. And what I want to do is and I'll talk about finishing up now, but I want to finish up on our program talking about my weekly scan. If you look across the bottom of the screen right now, you'll see what we've done so far. We talked about the overall stock market. We talked about cryptocurrency and that outlook. I talked about your favorite stock picks, and we yanked some of those out. We talked about, all of those things, but I really want to get into and talk about my weekly scan. And again, guys, I appreciate the chats, and I really love the super chats. If you want to super chat with me, there's a way to do that down at the bottom. You click on chat, super chat. Any donations you do not come back into my pocket. They go right out the door, right to various charities. And for those of you who are new with us, I want to thank you in advance, for hanging out with us today. I want to show you this scan. This is a really cool scan on volume I want to share with you guys. But if you enjoy what we're doing here, a big thank you to you. You can thank me by liking this program, sharing the channel, and of course, subscribing. If you subscribe, our next video is going to be coming out tomorrow. We're going to be discussing, again, buy zones on the big cryptocurrencies. All right. And and I'm going to get into our scan right now. And as I get into the scan, realize that this scan is part of tomsoptiontools.com. If you're looking for a 2-week free trial, you can find it at the bottom of this video in the description. So the scan I have for you is this. So if you're a technical trader, and many of you here are technical traders, then a lot of what we look at is something called stock volume. A lot of technical traders believe that volume precedes price. In fact, the truest of technical traders believe that. They believe that volume precedes stock price. And how many of you out there right now are one of those such traders where you look at volume before you look at price? If you are, let me know in the chat box. I want to know who you are as a trader. Are you a volume trader or are you a price trader? Because if you're a volume trader, you're going to love the scan that I'm about to show you. Because the scan I have in here, I can look at any stock, any list, or the entire optionable series. And I can determine very quickly where the money is exchanging in terms of volume. And that's what I want to share with you right now. I want to share that with you by looking at stock volume. And so I'm going to keep the screen up a little low here, and then we're going to dial in and we're going to look at these stocks. But what I do is I go through and, again, my process, and I've shared this with you guys before. My process is one where I'm doing what? I'm spotting rules-based opportunities. I'm creating low risk, or what I like to call acceptable risk trades. And then it's just a matter of planning, executing, and managing those trades. So let me show you. We're going to back up to spotting opportunities. We're going to spot volume-based opportunities. Volume-based opportunities look like this, right? So what I'm doing is I'm going into my tools at Tom's Option Tools, and I'm clicking on that stock tab first. And then I'm going into stock lists, and I can make that stock list whatever I want. All right. It can be S&P 500. It can be a small list. It can be FANG if you want to look at what's going on in FANG. right? And then I'm looking at three things. Number one, an increase in volume. Where's the big increases coming? I want to see it on a percentage change. And number three, I want to see volume spikes. I want to see spikes in the last 30 days. And that's what this scan does. So basically what I do is I make sure all this is in. I hit that search box, and then 30 seconds or less, because it does take some time to go through these, and I get a scan on the screen. Now, let's dial in and take a look at this scan and see what I've got going on here. So the scan I have, as you can see, Arthur Gallagher, what I've done is I'm looking for where are the spikes happening. So Arthur Gallagher recently had a 588% spike in volume in the last 30 days, right? If I want to take a look at the picture, I just click on pick, and here's the pick, and look what happened. Here's the volume. In the last 3 days, we had this big jump up. I mean, your average is down here just below 1 million shares, but then we hit above the 5 million, above 4 million, and today we're above 3 million. So there's a lot of volume wrapped around that Arthur Gallagher stock. All right. And then take a look at Fleur Systems, right? What does Fleur Systems make? They make the night vision goggles. And more importantly, now they make night vision in cameras, and they actually make full night vision. I was looking at, we were at the beach yesterday. And here I am looking at a boat. Any of you that own a boat, the two best days of a person who owns a boat is the day they buy their boat and the day they sell it. And I'm in between boats right now, and I'm kind of thinking, maybe I should just stick with the rental side. But then I started looking at some of the formula boats, and I like them. And the Fleur system is an option on it. And it has full heat-seeking Fleur. $38,000 option on the formula boat. That's expensive. And I see Fleur Systems that came up today. So I'm looking at a pic of Fleur, and you can see that Fleur, it had big volume back here in January. And it had volume once again just recently, 10 million shares on something that trades average down here below 2. That's a volume spike that's happening very recently. 583% spike in the last 30 days. It's happening recently. And that's based on the 30-day average. You look at the 30-day average, and then what's the recent spike telling us? We've got spikes in Marathon Petroleum right now. And, I'm looking at this one because we just looked at Marathon. Right? Amy brought up Marathon. We were looking at Marathon. And so how about that Marathon has got that big pop that's happening right now on volume. Teledyne Technologies is also in there, 471% spike. And then to round out the top 5, Hanes Brands. Are you kidding me? Underwear? We have a 422% spike in underwear that occurred last week. I wonder if that coincides with gas shortages that were happening last week too. I mean, you're sitting in that gas line for hours and hours. Surely you would need to possibly change your underwear. I don't know. It's just a thought. Please don't bite my head off, guys. If you find offense to changing underwear and how that possibly could be affecting the Hanes brand stock. Thank you very much, Carol. I appreciate that super chat. Again, guys, looking at those super chats out there, love those. All that money goes straight to charity. And we'll be picking a charity here real soon. I'm looking at LBX Brands. That's a charity that runs out of New York that helps underprivileged children by involving them in sports. And so thank you again, all of your donations, as well as the monetizing of this channel, not just the live stream itself, but the entire channel, videos, podcasts, etc. All of that does help out the channel and helps us in terms of offering those proceeds to charity. We really appreciate that. All right. So guys, so that is my live stream for today. I want to thank all of you for joining me. I want to, obviously I'm looking heavy in the cryptocurrencies. Some of you were asking, with these big moves that have happened, here's your big 3 right now. Coinbase on the market cap, Bitcoin, excuse me. Bitcoin down 26% in the last 7 days. Yeah, I'm taking a little hurting right now. Ethereum down 23%, Binance Coin down 24%. Cardano's the only one that's actually up on the last week, and it's down, in the last 24 hours is down 8% as well. So what has this done to my accounts? Well, it's done some damage to them. I mean, my Coinbase, one of my Coinbase accounts alone has suffered a more than $500,000 drop in since last week. But I've said it before, I've said it again, I'm in it for long haul. It doesn't affect me. I'm able to suffer and withstand those kind of moves because it was a lot lower from the move up, and I'm looking at it as a long-term holder of digital assets. All right. So, and again, if I were to kind of round out everything as we talked about this before, guys, if you're new to the channel, we really involve everything around these three things here on the screen. All right. Spotting rules-based opportunities. Again, number 2, creating a low risk and or high probability trading strategy. And then 3, planning that with your broker from start to finish. Again, thank you all for being part of the program today. Again, if you found this information, educational, please do us a favor, share it, like it. And if you subscribe and ding the bell, then you will get our videos, our podcasts, and our live streams. You'll get those as soon as we update those, so you never miss a thing. Thanks again. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. For those of you who subscribe, I'll have a video out for you sometime tomorrow afternoon, and we'll talk to you then. Bye now.